Hello, ZetaBoy200 or Chaos Warchild signing back in again. This is going to be a Chaos Space Marine troop tactica this time, as represented by one of the troop choices that I currently have. As shown, this is a close combat variant of them. I have many other troop choices as well, but for this purpose, for this video, I have a close combat squad here. I will be talking about the shooting effects as well. But before we get onto that, one of my previous videos I think it was my last video I done of showing off my third and final attempt of all of my Chaos Space Marines, and it turns out I have 9,270 points, and that is exact. Over 9,000 points worth of Chaos Space Marine army, as you've just seen. Right, this time let's talk about troops. These are useful, very, very useful, because they take up unit space, obviously, because you have to have them. Well, you have to have two with a HQ choice, but it says optional that you can add another 4 troop choices. I would play these close combat variant in a Rhino. Saves them foot slogging and getting shot to pieces. Plus, if you want to go fluff, this model here has a corn banner, which I really like. So that's him. This squad here is equipped with Mark of Corn, hence why it is a close combat variant. You can give it whatever mark you want. If you put on any mark on these guys, they will work out really good. One downside to Chaos Space Marines is that they're not fearless. You have to give them a banner. I'm not too sure which mark you have to give them to become fearless. I think it's the Icon of Ecstasy. If I'm wrong, put down in the comments below saying it's this banner. But I think it's the Banner of Ecstasy or Icon of Ecstasy. Always give these guys an aspiring champion, as represented by this guy here with the 2 chainswords. He has no backpack yet because I'm low on backpacks. Basically, I have no backpacks left. So there's my aspiring champion. Plus, give these guys a flamer or melter or plasma gun. But I haven't done that with these guys because I want to have these as more of a close combat variant. I don't want them necessarily staying back, shooting and then running in. I've worked out a loophole in the 6th edition Chaos Space Marine Codex that everyone would probably know that you can't give Havocs the plasma cannon. But what I found out is, me and my stepdad were talking about it, was that you can give your aspiring champions the plasma cannon. So that's kind of a thumbs up in a way, because don't get me wrong, it's a pie plate, I think. It's a big pie plate or a small blast marker, and it's AP2, I think. But there is one downside to any plasma weaponry: it does get hot. So be very wary of if you want to give your aspiring champions the plasma cannon. And the other downfall to Chaos Space Marines as troops is that you can't give them the plasma cannon as a specialist weapon or heavy weapon. That is like totally mess things up for my way of style, because certain people like me prefer to bring these weapons so for mass destruction basically. Um, bring the close combat unit into combat as quick as possible in a Rhino, but on the other hand, the shooty side of these is give them bolt guns and melters, plasma guns, plasma cannons for the aspiring champion, melter, anything that you can put as a specialist or heavy weapon in the Chaos Space Marine unit. This will work ideal for certain themes. If it's Black Legion, then the plasma cannon will throw out masses of like destruction. If it's Iron Warriors, las cannons or missile launchers, mass destruction again for tanks and swarms, and just cause major destruction with the shooty aspect of the Chaos Space Marines. Plus, with the shooty aspect, give them any mark, it will work also. But personally, I would give them Mark of Tzeentch, and give them the Icon of Despair, I think it is, where they get the Soul Blaze special rule for all bolt guns. Now, I have a squad of Chaos Space Marines in my box right beside me that's got all bolt guns, but one has a flamer, and that's Mark of Tzeentch. And that will basically entitle me for Soul Blaze. Now, moving on, Cultists. Cheap Horde unit for Chaos Space Marines, maximum of 35. Give them any mark, because they will work well. But for the close combat variant in the Dark Vengeance, give the Mark of Khorne. If you have a unit designed around close combat or a themed army designed around close combat, give them Mark of Khorne. If they're not close combat orientated, give them Mark of Nurgle, Slaanesh, or Tzeentch. Because with the Cultists, 35-man squad with Mark of Khorne, you're getting God knows how many rolls for close combat. You may not survive close combat, but you will have a chance of at least a minimum of 10 going into close combat, and that's not on average, but that's not a statistic, but it's good enough. With the shooty cultists, give them the Mark of Nurgle, Tzeentch, or Slaanesh. Push Khorne aside, because Khorne is not good for shooty cultists, or shooty cultists, or shooty Chaos Space Marines. For the shooty aspect of the cultists, like I said, give them Mark of Nurgle, Tzeentch, or Slaanesh. This will work well for them because it seems that they have a low initiative. They'll go up to 4, which is the bog standard, like Chaos Space Marine skill there, because a normal Chaos Space Marine is initiative 4 or 5. So if you give them Mark of Slaanesh for the cultists, they'll be extremely better in like close combat if they ever end up in close combat if someone's charged them. If you give them Mark of Tzeentch, you get a 6+ armor save. Don't give them any icon because the icons won't help the cultists, because they've got auto guns and the auto cannon, I think it's called. Heavy stubber, that's it. Heavy stubber. It wouldn't work for the cultists as much as it will for the Chaos Space Marines. But my personal opinion for Chaos cultists is give them Mark and Nurgle. Give them Feel No Pain. I think they become fearless. And they will just end up being awesome, led by Typhus. That is the only downside for these plague zombies. You have to include Typhus in order for the cultists to be zombies, is if you have Typhus. So, if you don't know this already, if you're not a Chaos Space Marine player, or if you fought against Chaos Space Marines, you will have to end up using the cultists as a hide-and-seek unit. If you don't know what I mean by hide-and-seek, is put them into cover, your next turn, move them into the next lot of cover. For the close combat, use them as a hide-and-seek unit, because it seems like they've got 6+ armor save. Push them into like the closest obscured scenery you have on your side, and push them up to the next, and push them up to the next piece. So that's what I mean by hide-and-seek units. And the cultists are the major hide-and-seek units in the Chaos Space Marine Codex, or army. You cannot give cultists vehicles, which I see is fair enough, because they're expendable, and they may be useless in some ways, but they can be very useful as cheap objective markers. Objective holders, should I say. What I mean by that is, if they have Mark and Nurgle for the plague zombies, put them onto an objective if you're playing that sort of game, and just hold. Because you've got already Fearless, and you have Feel No Pain on a 6+ armor save. Plus, it's kind of helpful for plague zombies to be in a army anyway, if you're Mark and Nurgle themed. Because Mark and Nurgle can be useful in many ways, because obviously you get Feel No Pain, Fearless for the plague zombies, but I'm not too sure what you get for Chaos Space Marines. And obviously you got the Plague Marines as well. But I'll cover the coat following units next video. But yeah, bring the Chaos Space Marine close combat unit in a Rhino. If it's a shooty variant, give the aspiring champion the plasma cannon, and cause major destruction that way. But give them any mark you want. I'm not stopping you from that. If it's cultists, if it's a close combat variant, Mark of Khorne all the way. And if it's not, preferably Mark and Nurgle in my choice, because you obviously get the Feel No Pain, Plague Zombies special rule. You get the Feel No Pain and Fearless special rule. So that's kind of good. So I'll cut it there, guys. Thank you. Like, subscribe, comment, thumbs up if you want to in the comments. Xenoboy200 or Chaos Warchild on the War Master Forum, signing out. Thank you and goodbye.